Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 2AS 116282. Today our group present case study about food brand of Adabi. First, let me introduce myself first and my group member. My name is Nur Nisa MOHAMI, student ID 2020481742.
And my name is Irdeena binti RUSDI, and my student ID is 2020457506.
And my name is ZULAIKHA binti AZHAR. My student ID is 2020873658.
And my name is SUAIBATUL ASLAMIAH binti Muhammad ZARI, and my student ID is 2020475792.
And lastly, my name is Bella Shafera binti IDRIS. My student ID is 2024-75142.
Let me start first with background of company. Adabi Consumer Industry Sdn Bhd is Malaysia food manufacturing company. It established in 1984 by Datuk Sheikh Mahmud. The headquarters located at Wawang, Selangor, Malaysia. Their company manufactures food products include sauces and spices. There are 80 different type products that are being marketed under 9 main categories. Their tagline is basic and asli. That is a special of Adabi product. Adabi product received ISO 9001-2015 by Sdn Bhd that certified Adabi quality management system. It shows this company commitment in produce high grade and quality product. Net production operation, including equipment and machinery, are regularly maintained in hygienic conditions in accordance with good manufacturing practice. Next, during preparation, packaging, processing, handling, storage and distribution, any food item that does not meet halal requirement is physically segregated. All raw material procured and used in this manufacturing process are guaranteed and certified halal by Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia JAKIM and Majlis Ulama Indonesia MUI. As you can see, at the bottom have a lot of logo. All these logo have an Adabi product, and it shows Adabi product have high and good quality and safe to consume. As we know, Adabi product have 18 different types, but for this case study, our group choose sardine. These are the objectives of this case study, but let me tell you a little bit of this case study. First is to explain the raw material processes of sardine, to identify the problem and the effect that will occur if not handling the raw material properly associated with microbiology and other objectives that we state. Then I will pass it to SUAIBATUL ASLAMIAH.
Now, I will share how to handle raw materials next. As we know, all raw materials must be stored properly to avoid spoilage, right? In sardine, the raw material that needs to be taken care of are fish and tomatoes. Fish to make sardine are caught at sea and will be frozen in a cold storage and will be sent to the factory or sardine processing place. The fish will be frozen at a temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. The freezing process is to extend the lifespan of the fish. If not frozen, it is possible that the fish will not last long and will cause a bad smell, and it is also possible that the content of the fish will turn soft like all fish. This is because if the fish is still fresh, the content will be elastic and when eaten will taste sweet. What is important is that when the fish reaches at the factory, the fish is still in a frozen, non-thawed state. Besides, after arrive at the factory, the worker must place the frozen fish in the suitable and clean containers. After that, the frozen fish must be thawed first in the water or use water spraying. This is because to avoid that fish from being damaged, such as the body split in two when wanting to take while the fish is still frozen. But this case can be avoided by thawing that frozen fish first. Fish is easier to take after defrost. First in, first out must be used in this case. If the new frozen fish has just arrived at the factory, the worker should ensure that all stocks of frozen fish that is not used up is stored in another storage place and use all the old stocks before using the new one. This is because to ensure all frozen fish stock are not stored for a long time. The second raw material is tomatoes. Tomatoes are easily spoiled and 40% tomatoes are already spoiled before consumption. Besides that, tomatoes must also be placed in a cool temperature and to prevent them from spoiling. Tomatoes that have been cut must be used all at once. Never put back because the percentage of bacteria to grow very high. Tomatoes are used to make sardine sauce, so we must take care of the tomatoes to prevent bad things happening to the consumers. So I will pass to Zulaikha.
Now, I will proceed with the effects of not handling the raw materials properly. For this case study, as I about to say before, there are two types of raw material, which is sardines and tomatoes. So I will proceed with the sardine first. Okay, after the fishermen catch the fish, they will put all of the fish in the container. Why? Because they want to avoid the cross-contamination between the fish with other extrinsic factors, such as oxygen and temperature. All of the extrinsic factors can make the bacteria grow rapidly and it can spoil the sardine very fast. The second one, after the fish already arrived at the factory and the workers already wash all of the fish, they have to chill the sardine as soon as possible because we want to slow down the activity of bacteria. At the lowest temperature, it can inhibit the microbial growth by slowing down the metabolism of microorganisms like Salmonella, but at that temperature, it cannot kill the microorganism. I want to highlight at here that the lowest temperature cannot kill the microorganism, but it just can inhibit the microbial growth by slowing down the metabolism of microorganism. Okay, now I proceed with the second raw materials, which is tomatoes. After the farmers harvesting all of the tomatoes, they have to store them quickly because tomatoes very easy to spoil. I saw about to say before that 40% of tomatoes will be spoiled before consumption. Penicillium species is an example of bacteria that can cause the spoilage of tomatoes. The farmers should store them in plastic bags or in an airtight container. To prevent spoilage, the farmers has to store them in the refrigerator at the 4 degrees Celsius or below of that. Okay. Besides that, the farmers also needs to separate the spoiled tomato and the fresh tomato as soon as possible after harvesting. Why? Because this method can avoid the contamination between the fresh tomato and spoiled tomatoes. If the farmers put the fresh tomatoes and spoiled tomatoes in the same container, it can make the fresh tomatoes become spoil very easy. Now I will pass it to Bella Shafira.
Okay, so next I'm going to present about the possible problems that may occur during the food process and ways to overcome. So for the first possible problem is loss of color or variation of food due to the exposure of heat, light, air or other condition during the food process and storage. So the nature of food packaging material can significantly affect the stability of ascorbic acid in the food. Losses of ascorbic acid are used as indicator of severeness of blanching and therefore for the food quality. So in order to overcome this problem, add color additive to the food to improve the appearance of food product and also make the food more attractive to the consumer. The second possible problem is imperfect sealing of packaging causing the entrance of microbes. Although heat and low pH inactivate the microbe itself, it poses thermoresistance and can reactivate if a suitable environment develops within the seal can. This may cause spoilage inside the food packaging. So ways to prevent this, the company should carry out regular inspection on products to detect any flaws. Next. So for the third possible problems is not enough heat treatment that may cause the presence of Clostridium botulinum. So this is due to the equipment failure or careless by the workers. So these microbes produce deadly toxin, and the toxins, if consumed by human, it can cause death. So to prevent this, the company should always make a routine check on machine and employees' attitude while working. So last possible problem is negligence during the selection of infected fish. So the fish contaminated by worms from the genus Anisakis species. So consumer may suffer from anicasis disease or allergy reaction. So to prevent this, by cooking them at 60 degrees Celsius and above, or else freeze them at -20 as it is also kills the worms. Next, I'll pass to Irdeena Shasha.
Next, I will present about reflections for an entrepreneurial activity. If I am their part of team members, the Adabi's company, I would suggest them to improve sales and grow their business. We will suggest them if we are their part of team members. Maybe they can research for the competition or the competitors, since nowadays we have a lot of competitors, like businessmen and businesswomen out there, and a lot of company. And the second one, maybe they can create the customer loyalty programs and launch promotions for Adabi's products, since everyone loves promotions. And the second one, we will suggest Adabi's staff or Adabi's company to reduce loss in business. Maybe they have to have a strong business plan can help them to reduce loss in business. They have to cut down their overhead costs and give maximum consideration to the health and safety of the staff, because having a happy and safe team of employees will increase productivity, and of course any accidents caused in the workplace can have a serious impact on the ability to work at maximum efficiency. And the third one, of course, uh, we all want to be a good and successful entrepreneur. Firstly, to be a good and successful entrepreneur, uh, they have to be creative. Like maybe they can open new ideas and different approaches to their business. The second one, they have to provide great services and be consistent. Next. Okay, for the next one, how to fulfill customer needs. For us, there are four main points to fulfill customer needs. Firstly, it's about the price. Customers usually want a fair and affordable price when purchasing a product or service. The second one will be the quality of the products. Quality relates to the standard of the product or service being offered. The third one, the choice. Customer might want different styles or sizes or even completely different products altogether. And the fourth is convenience. Convenience relates to something being easier, quicker, or generally less hassle for customers. For example, the Adabi's fried rice powder. Next. Okay, so these are all the other ways to fulfill customer needs. So lastly, this is our opinions and ideas to Adabi's company to grow for an entrepreneurial activity. Firstly, we would suggest them to use the social media as the main platform for marketing, since nowadays all of people have the social media in their phones. Maybe they can use Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, and many more. Maybe they can do contests or contents and giveaway to attract customers to buy their products. And the second one, they can create a webinar. And the last one, they have to improve the shipping process to become more efficient and cost effective. they have to create an online an online market like Shopee or Lazada, because people likes to shopping online right now. So they have to improve the shipping process so that customer will get the item fast. That's all from us. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.